So my name is Ryan Wittingslow. I am Assistant Professor in Humanities at the University College Groningen. As you can probably tell from my accent, I'm from Australia, and I arrived in Groningen less than a year ago, and it's been pretty great so far. So I ended up at the University College Groningen through a series of happy accidents. I was actually on my honeymoon in Switzerland when I got this job, and I stayed, so I haven't gone home yet. So I think I'm still technically on my honeymoon, which is, it's not doing too badly so far. I've only been here for 8 months, and so far I've taught 2 different subjects, technologies and society and media theory and practice. Technology and society is basically an intellectual history subject. So students starting with the Renaissance and moving to the Romantic period, students get to see how technology and art and different forms of society interact across time. And as those ideas, those sort of material factors, are either contingent upon or they themselves influence shifting intellectual attitudes. So that's technology and society. Media theory and practice, on the other hand, is about media consumption and media curatorship. So, I mean, we have this we're at this moment in history, I think, where we find ourselves entirely saturated by media content. So, thanks to the internet, and thanks to social media, and thanks to mobile phones, and and the sort of relatively low costs of doing your own reportage, suddenly we have more information. We have access to more information than ever before, which is really interesting. It's very exciting. Until you realize that not all information is good information. There's also a great deal of bad information. So given this wealth of data, how do we decide what's good, like what's news worth consuming, and what's bad, what's fake news, what's propaganda, what's whatever. And so this unit is about giving the students the discretionary skills to winnow out the good from the bad. UCG is a really unique environment because it's a kind of pedagogical laboratory. You get a whole bunch of extremely talented students and specialists from a whole bunch of different domains, and you put them in the same place, and this sort of weird alchemy kind of happens, where students and staff get the opportunity to cross-pollinate their disciplines in a way that doesn't really happen in a lot of other places. So I mentioned that UCG is a kind of pedagogical laboratory. So students study majors. So they come. There's 3 majors. There is humanities, social sciences, and sciences. And then there are sub-specializations within those 3 domains. So that's pretty conventional. What is unusual about UCG is that students then get the opportunity to apply the knowledge they've acquired in interdisciplinary projects. So what that means is that you have this disparate student body, so people from representatives of all these different majors, and they come together and they are asked to solve a common problem. And the problem is usually extremely difficult and extremely complex and has a lot of moving parts. And they do that in conjunction with academic members of staff. So I'll give you an example. I am currently working on a project called the Deep Time Project. And the Deep Time Project is basically asking students to deal with the problem of nuclear waste sequestration. So I, an art historian, have teamed up with one of my colleagues, a nuclear physicist, and what we're doing is we're giving students not only the technical skills that allow them to potentially help design nuclear silos, but also the communicative and semiological skills that allow them to think about what it means to communicate across generations. And when you're talking about nuclear waste, the ability to communicate across generations to say, this is a dangerous place, don't come here, don't dig, that is enormously important, given that some of these nuclear isotopes remain dangerously radioactive for up to 2.3 million years. So that's an example of interdisciplinarity in action at the UCG.